Let's be honest. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter studying for a big exam only to feel like you've forgotten everything just a week later? Yeah, me too. Well, it turns out there's a much better way to learn than just cramming, and today we are going to break down a framework that actually works.
It really all boils down to this one incredibly frustrating question. We've all been there, right? You spend hours learning something and it feels like it just goes in one ear and right out the other. But why does this keep happening? And more importantly, how do we make it stop?
The main culprit, the big problem, is our go-to learning method, cramming. I want you to picture this. You're frantically running around grabbing individual facts, like they're just loose, dry leaves, and you're just tossing them into a bucket.
And for a moment, sure, the bucket looks full. It feels like you've got a lot of knowledge in there. But it's also fragile, so disconnected. The second you face a real test, or even just a little bit of pressure, poof, the wind blows and it's all gone.
So, what's the alternative to this bucket of leaves? Well, it's called the deep thinking framework. And listen, this isn't just about learning better. It's about completely changing how learning feels, taking you from that frantic anxiety to a state of real, deep confidence.
And you can really feel the difference. Cramming, it's all about fear, right? The fear of forgetting, the pressure, the stress. But deep thinking, that's a whole different world. It's about a calm sense of clarity, of being in control, and the kind of confidence you only get when you truly get something. So here it is. This is the roadmap to get you there. It's just 4 simple but really powerful stages: comprehension, reasoning, connection, and application. The key is you follow them in order. You've got to master one before you can really move on to the next. Okay, enough theory. Let's actually put this framework into practice. We're going to take a super simple concept, something you probably learned back in school, and run it through these 4 stages. You'll see how it transforms a fuzzy memory into rock-solid knowledge.
First up, stage 1, comprehension. Now, the goal here is not to memorize some fancy textbook definition. No, it's simply to know what the concept means. In your own words. Simple as that.
So let's take our concept. Plants need sunlight for photosynthesis. To comprehend it, you ask these questions. My favorite is, how would I explain this to a 5-year-old? You'd probably say something like, well, plants use sunlight to make their own food. See? Simple. You get it?
And this right here, this is your first big test. Because if you can't explain it simply, it's a huge red flag that you haven't really understood it yet. You're probably just repeating words you memorized. Simplicity is proof of understanding.
All right, next up is stage 2, reasoning. So now that you know what something means, it's time to dig deeper and understand why it's true and how it all works. This is where we uncover the logic holding it all together.
So, back to our plant. We ask, why do plants need sunlight? Well, because the light provides the energy for a chemical reaction to happen. And how does it work? Sunlight helps turn water and carbon dioxide into sugary food for the plant. We're now seeing the actual cause and effect.
This stage, this is the magic moment. It's the pivot point where a fragile, easily forgotten memory starts to harden into genuine logical understanding. You're not just recalling a fact anymore, you're actually grasping a process.
Okay, moving on to stage 3, connection. You see, isolated facts are like lonely islands in your brain. They're easy to lose track of. But connected knowledge is sticky. So the goal here is to build bridges from this new idea to things you already know.
So, with photosynthesis, where have we seen something like that before? You might think for a second and then, oh, solar panels, right? They also take in sunlight and convert it into usable energy. By making that simple connection, you've just anchored this new concept to something solid in your mind.
And this is precisely why this method is so powerful. You're building an interconnected web of knowledge in your mind, not just a messy pile of leaves. And every new connection you make strengthens the entire web, making it so much harder to forget.
And finally, we get to stage 4, application and challenge. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Because, let's face it, true knowledge isn't passive. You have to be able to use it, to test it, and even figure out where it breaks down.
So let's challenge our plant concept. What if a key ingredient changes? Like what if you take the plant and stick it in a dark closet for a week? Well, using what you know, you can predict it would get weak and its leaves would start to turn yellow. You've just applied your knowledge to predict a real outcome.
By pushing the concept and testing its boundaries, you go way beyond simple understanding. You start building those higher-order skills. This is exactly how you develop critical thinking and the ability to solve problems you've never seen before.
So, when you put all 4 of these stages together, you stop collecting those loose facts. You start building something much, much bigger, something permanent and powerful. You start building a knowledge tree. Just think of it like this. Comprehension, that simple explanation you came up with, that forms the roots of the tree. It's the foundation that anchors everything else deep in the ground. Then you have reasoning, the why, and the how. That's the trunk of the tree. It provides all the structure and the support, letting the knowledge stand tall and strong on its own. Next, those connections you made, those are the branches. They're reaching out, linking this new idea to the whole forest of knowledge you already have in your mind.
And finally, application. That's the fruit. It's the real-world, tangible result of all your deep thinking. It's the ability to make predictions, to solve problems, and maybe even create something totally new.
Now, the absolute best part about all of this is that you can start using this framework right now. So here's a quick little toolkit to help you make that shift from cramming to deep thinking today.
Think of this as your personal cheat sheet. Anytime you're learning something new, just pull this out and run through the checklist. Have I explained it in my own words? Do I know why it works? If you find a box that's unchecked, you know you're starting to slip back into that old cramming mode. It's like a perfect little mental stop sign. Let me just leave you with one final way to think about this. Cramming is like filling a heavy backpack with random objects. It just weighs you down and makes you slow. Deep thinking, on the other hand, is like sharpening a sword. It doesn't weigh you down. It makes you agile, precise, and incredibly powerful.
So, really, the choice is yours. Are you going to keep collecting those loose leaves that are just going to blow away? Or are you going to start planting a tree of understanding that will grow with you for the rest of your life?